Hi, it's Mr. Mike for the Mechanicsburg Learning Center coming at you. I want to do a quick update for you. We've had some technical difficulties and we want to make sure that the video is coming to you as clear as it possibly can be. So, at any rate, we're going to talk about a very special animal today, in episode 2 of DINO-A-Day, and it is called the Baryonyx. Take a look at it, everybody. There is the Baryonyx. This is what he looks like, or she. Baryonyx was a little bit atypical for a dinosaur in terms of what you might think they looked like. A lot of times people get the idea that they all kind of look like T-Rex. Well, the Baryonyx did not look like T-Rex. It looked more like I would say, crocodile on steroids. This thing was between about 25 to 33 feet long, but it was not fully grown, so we're not sure how big it could have grown. But it has a lot of interesting things about the animal, and it should be one of the dinosaurs that should be a lot more well known. It does have a very well-known ancient cousin, and that is the Spinosaurus, which it is related to, and of course the big difference is no sail on its back. So it is related to the Spinosaurus, and if you know anything about the Spinosaurus, you know that it was an opportunistic eater. It ate kind of whatever it could come across. We felt that dinosaurs ate fish. We knew they ate plants, we knew they ate meat, we knew they ate insects and probably fruit. We suspected that they ate fish, but we didn't have proof. So, when we discovered the Baryonyx, it was a very interesting discovery in the fact that it was made by an amateur rockhound. Somebody just walking along and finding an interesting kind of bone, a rock, pulled it out of the ground, looked at it, tapped it with a hammer, and out pops this giant claw, which is where the Baryonyx got his name. His name means heavy claw, and this thing was 12 inches from tip to base. A 12-inch claw. Had to be a pretty big animal to handle such a thing, and they were very heavy. So we looked at it and said, what does a claw like this like to do for a living? Well, the claw likes to stab at the water. The teeth like to stab at the water. So we assumed that it ate fish. We hypothesized that it ate fish. But until William Walker, who turned out to be a plumber, actually made the discovery of this claw, scientists had no idea it existed, and they had no evidence that dinosaurs ate fish. Well, along comes Mr. Walker, stumbles upon the claw, says this is cool, returns to the quarry where he found it, pulls out a couple more bones, and then shows it to his son-in-law, who says, we should show this to someone in a museum, which they did. They took it to a museum. The museum got very excited, sent a team out, and excavated in all 65% of this entire animal. 65% of this animal was found. Many times we name a dinosaur just based on a single bone or a single tooth or a piece of its vertebra. Here we had 65%, very exciting because we had a really good idea of what this bad boy looked like. So, great discovery was made right here in the animal's belly. Right where the belly used to be, they discovered fish scales. Fish scales from a fish named Lepidotes. Lepidotes had shiny scales, and they were in the belly of the Baryonyx, probably its last meal. Also, they found some other things in its belly, pieces of other dinosaur, the iguanodon to be exact. But we knew that the Baryonyx was not fully grown because there were parts of its anatomy, the bones had not yet fused like they would in an adult. So this wasn't even a fully grown Baryonyx. Here's another look at what the Baryonyx might have looked like. Big, big claws. Big, big teeth. Big, big animal. So the Baryonyx, very interesting. Name means heavy claw. It was definitely a fish eater, related to the Spinosaurus. Now, its name may end up changing, which is something that science does from time to time. If they make a discovery, you, for example, make a discovery of a dinosaur and you name it something. Then along comes somebody 20 years later or even longer, and they make a discovery and they say, well, we're going to name it this. Well, then they look at it real closely and realize that these are probably the same species. This is what happened to the Brontosaurus, which was named Apatosaurus, and then it was back to being named Brontosaurus again. So what happens is the first name always takes precedence. So this is the case of the Baryonyx. There is an animal that has been named Suchosaurus. And Suchosaurus, that name predates Baryonyx. And some scientists believe they are the same species. So let's call it Baryonyx for now, but someday we may end up calling it Suchosaurus. So you know a lot about this thing. You know that William Walker discovered it now. You know that it was about 25 to 33 feet long. You know that it was a piscivore, fish eater. And we now know that the Baryonyx has a second name, just like Tyrannosaurus rex. Rex is its second name, Tyrannosaurus is its first name, Baryonyx is its first name, second name is Walkeri, named after William Walker. So let's conclude today's segment with a story that I wrote in Dinorific Poetry Volume 3. If you are interested in my book, simply go to DINO-A-Day. And I want to thank you guys for sharing the video yesterday. We had a lot of people looking at it. And I want to say that if you can share it again today, we'd really appreciate it. What we're trying to do is get all these kids that are looking for something to do while we suffer through whatever we're suffering through, to have some fun and look forward to each and every day and each and every DINO-A-Day segment, brought to you by the Mechanicsburg Learning Center. So here is the story I wrote called Baryonyx, and it's available on my website, which is dinorhymes.com. Baryonyx. As dinos go, this one is quite diverse from other beasts. The Baryonyx gobbled fish, the focus of his feasts. The Baryonyx loved his fish, and he preferred them raw. He would scoop up 16 sushi rolls with one enormous claw. Now, from spicy, hot, or mild, he quite frankly didn't care. But don't expect to have a taste. He didn't like to share. The Baryonyx loved his fish, and he caught them all himself. That way they were the freshest, plus it's super for his health. Of course, he didn't need much bait. He simply stood quite still. Then stabbed the water quickly with dexterity and skill. The fish below stood little chance when Barry had to eat. He'd snag them with his 12-inch claw and didn't miss a beat. His bottom jaw was lined with 64 teeth, razor sharp, and then 32 more above helped him chew up these ancient carp. Now, because the Baryonyx bones were brought from bygone days, we now had proof that dinos dined on freshly fished fillets. The Baryonyx now, of course, no longer prowls the shore, so long remember him, the great fish-eating dinosaur. Mr. Mike signing off from the Mechanicsburg Learning Center. Thanks for watching the segment number 2 of Dino-A-Day. We'll be back again tomorrow. Stay close. Go learn something about a dinosaur. Have fun. Wash your hands. Stay safe. We'll talk to you tomorrow.